I'm joined now by Peter Green. He is the editor-in-chief of MRS Communications, and Sergei Manzhos. He happens to be an author contributing to MRS Communications. And thank you so much for your time this morning.
Well, thank you.
Peter, let me start with you. Your online presence for MRS Communications promises fast publication. We're talking about within 14 days of acceptance. Talk to us about the importance of that.
Yes. So after manuscript goes through a rigorous refereeing process, the authors expect the papers to be in print as soon as possible. They're working in areas where the advances are quite rapid, and there could be other journals publishing the same thing simultaneously. So this is particularly important to be able to do. What's also interesting about MRS Communications, the fact that it's an online journal, it enables access using a range of modes from iTunes to various Android apps. The digital interface offers opportunities for readers to actually enjoy the experience and be able to do a range of things with the journal's content.
And Sergei, as an author, contributor, what drew you to submit to MRS Communications?
Well, I thought it was an appropriate forum to disseminate what we had. I published 2 papers with MRS Communications, one solar cell related work and one work battery related. And when you think where you want to disseminate your work, you think first of all what you have and how important is it to get it out quickly. And what we had was essentially once you get a piece of factual information and you think that the fact is very much important rather than the long story behind it, you want to get it out quickly because that's a fact that potentially has importance for the wider community. And then we looked at what would be an appropriate forum for it, and we did theory work, but it's materials related work. And we got essentially a scientific fact discovered via computation. So it looked like a very appropriate forum for us to go for a communications paper, because this is a fact which people should know. And as Peter said, it's a very rapidly evolving field relating to graphene and its application to batteries. So we know people are working on related stuff all the time. And it's very important that they know what we have done already so they don't do the same thing. And for us, vice versa, right? So I think it was a very appropriate forum for us to disseminate our work.
Absolutely. And Peter, in Sergei's paper and what he's contributed, is this the kind of article that you're looking for?
Yes, this is in fact quite representative of the kind of article looking for. An author has a number of options. Certainly the research ledger's option, where they can actually publish a very quick result very fast. The length of the letter's option is quite variable, so an author can actually take the time to explain in further detail the significance of the findings and the context. There's another publication, the prospectives. The prospectives tend to be longer. They tend to be authoritative reviews and assessments of the direction of a brand new field, and those are commissioned by direct invitation by any of the editors, or someone can actually write a proposal, which is on our website, to actually submit a perspective to the journal.
And you've submitted how many so far?
We've made 2 articles, spaced by about a year. I guess one was accepted late 2012 and one sometime mid to late 2013 on 2 very different topics, but both communications essentially, where we said this is a fact, we should discover it computationally, and people should know about it.
Absolutely.
I did have one final comment.
Yes.
It's regarding open access.
Yes.
And so authors, at the end of the review process and the papers have been accepted, have an option for open access. We also have the so-called green open access option, where in fact an author, after having a paper accepted, can actually use an institutional repository to make it available so they can actually meet the requirements of funding agencies. And I think these are actually important components of the journal.
Oh, thank you for adding that. All right. Peter Green, thank you.
Thank you.
You, Sergei.
Okay. Sergei, thank you.